Welcome to The Favorites, the podcast presented by Bet365. We are part of the Action Network. Today is our wild card weekend recap episode live from the Shepherd and the Knucklehead in beautiful Hoboken, New Jersey. I am Chad Millman. I am joined by my BFF, my companion, my compadre, my co-host, professional bettor Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Chad.
Brother, how lucky are we? A huge weekend hanging with our Action Network, our favorites community, friends from all over the country. Louisiana, Baltimore, Chicago, Georgia, the great state of Washington, the family from Delaware who made it, even though the super fan of the family, David, could not make it. Also, Simon Hunter's family, all the way from South Jersey. Huge thanks, by the way, and big round of applause for the entire Action Network crew who organized 2 days of amazing events back-to-back. Amazing. Also, very special thanks because the Favorites podcast is presented by Bet365. Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why you get more boosts with them than with anyone else. Every day they power up the odds on hundreds of bets to give you a chance to win more. Bet365 boosts specific markets, your winnings, and even parlays, and they don't stop there. Keep an eye out for their biggest and best odds with the incredible Super Boost. Check out the boost and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and present in Colorado, Iowa, New Jersey, Louisiana, Ohio, Virginia, or 18 and older in Kentucky. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Terms, conditions, restrictions apply. All right. We've had 3 of the 6 wildcard games played so far. We're going to run through the games. We're going to do this a little bit differently than we normally do. Since we didn't have our faves 5 for a contest to run through, let's go in order of Foxhole, Big Balls, etc. The games that we know we've cashed so far. By the way, Foxhole, Cleveland at Houston. We had Houston plus 2.5. Listen, I've spoken to a lot of people here today, longtime listeners of the pod, who remember Bob Scucci, our bookmaker who was a co-host with me for a long time at the Orleans. In one season, a fan asked Bob to make a special dish at the Orleans. Bob decided to have the chef there make a special dish called battered Flacco. Last night I got a text from Bob after the game, just said 2 words, battered Flacco. Dude, we were on Houston. Brandon Anderson said, imagine a world, Brandon Anderson, one of our great analysts, imagine a world in which we actually believed we were betting on Joe Flacco as a road favorite in the playoffs. Thank God we came to our senses.
Yeah, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. And people know on Tuesday's show, I was like, God, am I really about to take a rookie head coach and a rookie QB in an 0-3 spot historically against the number 1 defense? But we talked about it. That Cleveland defense on the road. I mean, that was one of those where, like, what is it, 5 minutes in, he had 2 bombs, and you're just like, okay, CJ, the moment's not too big. That was a good bet. So that's a nice one where, like, you're literally anyone that had the Browns, you have Flacco, and you're down 24, whatever it was, 24, 10.5, you know you're dead.
Dead.
You're dead.
Like, it felt so good to be in this bar yesterday and not be sweating the Texans. Oh, my God, that was just lovely. And by the way, you mentioned the Browns defense, right?
Yeah.
How bad was the road Browns defense? The stats got worse after the game yesterday. They had been allowing a little bit less than 30 points per game. After yesterday, allowing more than 31 points per game on the road compared to 13.9 points per game alone. This team was terrible on the road. CJ Stroud is awesome. We don't know who they are playing yet, but here's a stat from Evan Abrams sitting right over there. Teams who won, let's give it up. Teams who won as underdogs in the wild card round by double digits. They are 11-9 against the spread in the next round the past 20 years. 10-7 when listed as the underdog. So there is a little bit of a reason to continue to back CJ Stroud. Did you see stuff in the game? We know CJ will be on the road. not as good on the road. Did you see stuff in the game yesterday that made you feel like, yeah, I'm confident in C.J. Stroud as a playoff quarterback? I'm beyond thinking about C.J. Stroud as a first-year player in the playoffs.
A little bit, but I also think it's not to overreact to the fact that their defense had, 2 or 3 pick sixes?
Yeah.
So at the same time, we play the numbers. And I told people at the bar, if it's 7.5 or above, how do we not play Houston? We're a sucker for these big dogs, especially a guy like CJ that if he's down, he's not going to stop fighting. Like, that back door will be open the whole time. And Evan will give us the stats. Lamar is a big favorite. We fade. We fade Lamar when he's a big favorite. So it's all about the number. It's if they open this, too much respect for CJ and give it 4.5, I'll probably go Baltimore. But if it's anything above 7, how do we not take CJ in that number?
Well, look, I feel like we're going to talk about this later in the show. We've already gotten a number. Books posted a number on Green Bay and Dallas before the game was over.
It's been over for a while.
It was right. It was a big number. We're going to get to that conversation, but if the books are thinking the same thing about CJ and the Texans that they're thinking about Green Bay and Jordan Love, then it's going to be an interesting conversation. Speaking of Green Bay, because our Big Balls Bet of the Week. We are on a run, brother. The Big Balls Bet of the Week was Green Bay plus 7.5 at Dallas. Sunday night, 7 days ago, we are talking about this game. And we are seeing easy money, actually. We are seeing this number open, and we're like, this makes no sense. Yeah. Remind everybody what you were thinking last week when you saw this game open and we love the Packers. We were still a little bit hesitant.
I mean, first we both were like, the books are idiots. Like, that was just a bad number they hung, and we didn't really understand it. That was the first fear. But the biggest one we talked about was, this is the teaser killer, right? This is like the dream scenario for all the books. Every Joe Schmo is walking in there, teasing Dallas against Jordan Love, first-time starter in the playoffs. And we just saw it. Like, the playoffs get so weird. Teams fall on their face. And even in this game, when it was 14-0, you still in your mind could convince yourself Dallas could come back here. Once it was 20-0, even the most diehard Dallas bettors were like, okay, that was no doubt the worst bet of this postseason. Like that, they were never in this game from the get-go. Green Bay, Jordan Love, what we talked about, total command right now, him and LaFleur. So it's always nice you're on the right side of these ones, but especially when you're giving out a dog. Now, I do have to give you some shit, Chad.
Uh-oh.
Moneyline round robin. Green Bay.
Yeah, I might have pulled them out.
Yeah, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. We can talk about that because we're going to get to the money line round robin. And I will tell you right now, I was sitting in the corner over there and I was putting in the final notes for the script. And in my head,
I can't believe you took it out.
I believed we had Green Bay in the money line round robin.
You're sick.
And I even said to Matt Mitchell, I'm like, dude, we got Green Bay and Houston in the money line round robin. He's like, that's amazing. And I'm like, now I'm thinking to myself, Matt Mitchell, why didn't you know we didn't have Green Bay?
He doesn't
listen to the podcast. But you're not wrong about the conversation around Dallas and Green Bay in this game. I swear to God, I was standing with a fan over here who credits us for helping him pay for his wedding, by the way.
Why weren't we invited? What the fuck?
That's what I asked.
Next time.
You know? And when the Packers went up 7-0, I said to him, we got this. and he gave me a look. He was afraid that I had mushed it, but this Green Bay team was so much better. And shout out to Raybon and Stuckey for the Sunday Six Pack and their great podcast.
Yeah.
They talked a lot about this game. Raybon had this litany of stats of Jordan Love and this Packers team since November and how good Jordan Love has been.
Incredible.
And our reason for betting this game was Jordan Love, but also we just believe Mike McCarthy is a terrible coach and Matt LaFleur is a really good coach. And we would get our opportunity for Mike McCarthy to get a little bit tight and make bad decisions. Very good chance tomorrow morning Mike McCarthy is no longer the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So this one was never in doubt. Good for us. Good for Big Balls. 2 for 2 on Foxhole and Big Balls. Miami, Kansas City. We'll go quickly through this one. This was the hard game for us to handicap. We didn't like the value on Kansas City. We didn't want to bet on Miami. Our strongest play in this game was the under. That's ultimately what we played. The trend of playing unders in these games where it's 10-plus mile-per-hour wins continues to cash. But we just never felt comfortable with the side. Again, nice call by Raybon on Mecole Hardman, under 14.5. Receiving yards, nice call by Sean Kerner to under 21.5 completions. This one, never a sweat. Felt great about it.
Yeah, and just when we don't know what a side to take, what do we like to do? We like to play the totals, and we love that under. And even when Evan told us it was like the most public bet of the week, we talk in the playoffs, I don't really let that scare me off as much, right? You only have 6 games. The public and the pros are going to be aligned on a lot of games. And that was one of those where the books hung too big of a number. Even at 43.5, I mean, people following along can do the math. We still had a touchdown and a field goal to give up, and we'd still cover that under. So those are the dream scenarios. Like when you're in the fourth quarter, low-scoring games, Miami couldn't do anything. That was a good bet, but it is a classic scenario. We wanted to take the Chiefs. We were both scared off of the number, and we see our guy Chris on the other side. It's like, all right, we'll avoid Miami.
We'll pass it completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raybon is apologizing.
70% winner. No, don't got to apologize.
The trend of playing unders in games I just mentioned with 10-plus mile-per-hour winds is a massive signal and a cashing ticket. Unders are 73% and 73%, I think, the past 20 years, or what's that? 73% this season, 70% the last 2 seasons. Not just covering, but going under the total by 3.5 points per game.
Crazy.
So, like, we talked about this yesterday. That 43 was high, and we were still like, just keep betting it. Keep betting that under. It's still a good number for you.
Yeah, we said don't let the movement scare you. Like, even though it was 36.5 and it dropped to 43.5, we kept saying it's still too high.
Something to think about for Buffalo tomorrow with the wind and the weather. We don't know what it's going to be yet. All right, hold on. Swear to God, right now, before we sat down, Matt Mitchell handed me a note card and said, "Here's a joke. I just want you to read it. Honestly, I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what it is. So here we go. Open in 1994, the United States Supermax Penitentiary in Florence, Arizona, is known as the most secure prison on earth. Nicknamed the Alcatraz of the Rockies, it's believed to be the only facility that can prevent Simon from betting the Carolina Panthers. Wow.
How dare you?
Oh, man. As a reminder, you can catch every episode of The Favorites live on YouTube. So for those enjoying on YouTube, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page. And now, a quick word from our sponsor, HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Are you too sad from betting wildcard weekend underdogs to leave your house? No problem with HelloFresh. You skip trips to the grocery store, and unlike betting unders, they make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why they're America's #1 meal kit. This time of year, everyone's looking to revamp their eating habits. Look to HelloFresh's wholesome options every week, like their protein-smart recipes each week. People say a lot of things, but we know 2 things are always true, Simon. First is you can't rely on the passing game in windy conditions. Second, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and HelloFresh agrees with both of these. In fact, they're giving all subscribers free breakfast for life. That means that you'll enjoy a totally free breakfast item with every single HelloFresh delivery. So go to HelloFresh.com/favoritespod free and use code favoritespod for free breakfast for life. 1 breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/favoritespod free with code favoritespod free. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. All right. Quick recap. Foxhole, Houston -2.5. Simon says the LA Rams +3.5. So we got something on the line tonight. Our executive decision, Buffalo -10. We got something on the line tomorrow. Big balls, Green Bay +7.5. Our round robin somehow is the LA Rams, Houston, and Tampa Bay, not Green Bay, Houston, and Tampa Bay. I don't know what happened there, Simon. I don't know who can take responsibility for that.
You can.
Maybe it's me.
Yeah.
All right. Last minute leans for tonight. We got the Rams in Detroit. Clearly, we're both on the Rams. The line has moved from 4 down to 3.5, down to 3. Tell everyone why we're not nervous about the Rams at +3.
I'm nervous. Yeah.
All right. Tell everyone why we still would do it at +3, the indicators we've gotten from the wise guys, how the number has moved, why it hasn't moved in a certain direction.
Yeah, take the +3, but it's also like you're at this point, if you're literally going to haven't bet a single bet yet, just wait. Like wait and see what happens right on this first drive. You could easily get +10, right? If they go right down the field of the Lions and score, this number is going to move. But I feel like everyone that listened to this got the 3.5, and we talked all week how key of a number that was. It's been sitting out 3 all week, so it's clearly a big deal. Like the books, they didn't want to take that much Lions money, so they hung the 3.5. It was all Rams money. Now we're getting closer to kickoff. It really is a ton of Detroit money coming in late here. So if the professionals did like it, they were hoping for the 2.5 and never got there. Now they're coming in pretty heavy and taking the 3 in Detroit. Obviously, the Laporta news, him playing, it's a big deal for that offense.
Yeah, that's big.
They said it's limited snaps, which to me just reads of third downs, red zone targets. That's where he'll play. Again, we don't know how bad his leg is and if he can move. He's some of the best hands in football. So, like, to them, if he's able to get out there and just catch the ball, that's such a big deal to this Lions team. So, from my perspective with the Rams, nothing's changed here, honestly. Like, I still love them at +3, still love their money. I still think they have a great chance to win this game. And the fact that so much money is coming to the Lions honestly makes me feel a little better because Evan kept telling us all week it was all Rams money. And, like, no one wants to hear that, especially me and you. We hate betting with the public, but this one's just not scaring me off. I think the bookmakers hung a bad line at 3.5, 4. Hopefully everyone got that number, and it's like now that it's down to 3, this is where it should be. This is a coin flip game. Whoever has the ball last is going to win it, but we like the dog in that spot, especially a dog like Stafford, who's taken his team to the Super Bowl just 2 years ago in these exact scenarios. I mean, Evan told us in that run, he was 3-0 straight up as a dog on that run. So obviously we're hoping for a little bit of magic here. And now that Dallas is knocked out, it opens up even more avenues for this Rams team to make a little Super Bowl run.
Well, here's the good news. Evan, with some last-minute reporting, the number of tickets on the Rams has dropped from 74% to 59%. So if we want to be on the dog, it's getting closer and closer to not being a public dog, which is good for us. You mentioned Sam Laporta only playing in then sort of those special packages. Remember, Sam Laporta had 48 catches for first downs this year, second most on the Lions. So he's an important weapon for them in that third down package. So I love the Rams when Laporta wasn't playing. Him playing makes me a little more nervous, but I still like the Rams. All right, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. I made Buffalo my exec decision as a 10-point favorite.
You did.
And I'm sticking by it. I'm not afraid of it. I don't like Mason Rudolph on the road.
Man.
I don't like Mason Rudolph in the cold.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a spot where Buffalo, even with a good ground game and a disposition to play more on the ground than they have when Matt Canada was the offensive coordinator, this plays exactly to their strengths. This is a prime spot for the Steelers to just completely crater, especially when they don't have T.J. Watt. And we've gone through all the stats. Like, back in the Steelers, when they don't have T.J. Watt, is a losing bet. Like, not just losing bet, oh, ha, ha, ha. It's like, I think they're 1 in something against the
1 in
spread
10.
without T.J. Watt. So that's a big factor for me. And I would like your support.
Yeah, I'm with you. You're dug in. I did the coward move. I just took the Bills' money line. That was the move, where it's like pairing them with the Chiefs' money line.
Come on.
No sweat, baby. But I just don't like it because it's a blizzard. But the fact that we're getting it delayed by a day, it's a big deal with the Bills. Like, that's who it's helping here, where the fact that they are going to be able to pass the ball downfield, that's such a big deal to this Bills team. So as a friend, as a backer of the Bills, I'm hoping, Chad, we wake up tomorrow and the wind has died down. Because if it is 15 per mile, 20 per hour consistent winds with 50 per hour gust, I mean, that's insane. It's like really hard to get behind taking a 10-point favorite in those kind of conditions. But
Simon, I want you to be my betting buddy. Just do it. Philadelphia, Tampa, we hate this game. We hate everything about this game.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I might just go to sleep tomorrow night and not watch this game and not bet this game and just wait until next week. So what do you want to say about this game?
I would tell people, if you want to buy low, this is as low as it can truly get on the Eagles at -2.5. And I will take that number, but if anyone's taking the Bucks 3, like you just said, who's to talk them out of it? The Eagles have, 6 straight, Evan told us, they haven't covered. It's one of the worst streaks in all of football. I mean, they're just so poorly coached right now, so banged up. I totally get the argument for taking Tampa, and that's why, again, we left this one out, because it's like we have no real feel for it. So For value-wise, I will take the Eagles at -2.5 just because they are the better team. But like me and betting this game, it's the smallest bet of the week. It's just no feel for it.
Green Bay at San Francisco is the only matchup we're sure of right now. We'll quickly go through this one because we haven't had a chance to really do any work on it. Posted at 9.5, very early line. I think it makes sense given what the Cowboy line was with 7. So you're getting a little bit more value or a little more points on San Francisco. The Niners offense, superior to the Cowboys in terms of scheme, in terms of dynamic, in terms of tools. Coaching, far superior to the Cowboys. Those are the reasons why we loved the Packers. Also, the Cowboys defense, I think, is suspect, as we've seen today. Very possible the public could back the Packers and the wise guys end up liking the Niners, but you have a very quick first instinct on this game.
I honestly don't. Like, my first bet was, like, I want to take Green Bay at +10. But, like, talking to a bunch of people here, it's like, is it going to get there? That's the question. It's like, are the pros going to let it get to 10? Because that's such a key number. But, yeah, the public, this is the bet. Like, why would you not take the 49ers in this spot against the team that's just so inflated around Green Bay? But, I mean, you keep saying it. This Green Bay team, I don't know if the books are priced it right. Like, the turnaround they had in the second half of the year, it's just how do you keep counting out Jordan Love? Same reason we took him today. It's just, like, too big of a spread against a team that doesn't get consistent stops. And on the flip side, though, when they do beat teams, the 49ers this year, they really beat them, right? The only team that backdoored them, I think, was, the Rams on that BS field goal by McVay.
Yeah.
They're just the kind of team this year that they really have killed teams. So I just know the pros that I know that bet it, they're probably going to end up on Green Bay's money line and then take the 49ers spread. Like, that's how they'll view this one, where it's like, we know Shanahan struggles. If his team's down 10 in the fourth quarter, like Evan talked about, they're dead, right? He does not come from behind when his team is losing big in the fourth quarter. So it is a bet where it's like, I kind of want to play both sides, but I know people on our show hate that. So as you sit here right now, I wouldn't touch this number, but it's like, it's really tempting if this gets to 10 just to grab the Green Bay right away when it gets to 10.
We will dig deeper into that and all the games on the Tuesday episode of The Favorites. Simon, I know it's playoff time. Life is full of distractions right now in your world, but that's still not a good excuse for forgetting the fastest growing ticketing app in the United States. Can you name it?
Game time.
I love Game Time for 2 reasons. 1, because they sponsor this show. Number 2, I actually use Game Time to buy tickets. They've got amazing last-minute deals on all sorts of tickets, including pro and college games. I'm actually going to open the Game Time app right now from my spot here in the Shepherd and the Knucklehead. Hey, guess what? I can get into the Madison Square Garden to see the New York Knicks for less than $100 when they take on the Houston Rockets. No matter where you live, download the Game Time app, get out, have some fun this week, go sweat your bets live and in person. You can redeem code FAVORITES for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just download the app and enter code FAVORITES for $20 off. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, before we get out of here, we do want to quickly welcome Sam Matney, our favorites contest, second place finisher. Sam traveled all the way here from Atlanta, Georgia. Let's give him a hand to join us live. Listen, here's how we know Sam is really one of us, right? Sam was 1 win away from capturing our $40,000 first place prize in the contest. It's been a theme all season. You can guess. Who did Sam need to cover? Let's say it. That's right. The Carolina Panthers. Sam, congrats. Congrats on second place. Thanks for joining the favorites. Thanks for flying all the way up here, using all the money you won to battle the elements and come up for a weekend in New York. What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, no, Chad, Simon, thank you guys so much. Bet365, thank you so much for putting on this contest. It was an honor to play. And honestly, the Panthers thing, as a Saints fan, it hurts just that much more to have them be the one to screw me. You know, it was a tough play. I took them plus 5.5 against the Bucks a couple of weeks prior. They covered for me then. I figured, why not do it again? And it was a big mistake. The double dip on the Panthers is is what signed my fate. But again, super happy to be able to participate, super happy to capture second place, and it's an honor to be up here celebrating with you all.
Yeah, let's give him a hand. I feel like the most important thing, Sam, is I want to make sure you don't blame me and Simon
You can blame me.
for taking the Panthers.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to come up here and blame you guys. Honestly, this week I went back and went through my whole entire season, right, and looked at who I picked, who I faded, all that stuff. Turns out that was the only time the Panthers screwed me. I had a couple of wins on them earlier in the contest. The big thing that screwed me over actually was the Titans-Jags game. I had a Jags future to win the division.
Oh.
And I was like, I can't pick the Titans in that game going against my future, and so I picked the wrong 4.5 dog, and again, that's what sealed my fate. But you know, it was super fun playing. It was a blast, and again, like I said, I'm super happy to be here with you guys.
Congrats to Sam. Nice job, buddy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As a reminder, the Favorites podcast is presented by Bet365. Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why you get more boosts with them than with anyone else. Every day they power up the odds on hundreds of bets to give you a chance to win more. Bet365 boosts specific markets, your winnings, and even parlays, and they don't stop there. Keep an eye out for their biggest and best odds with the incredible Super Boost. Check out the boost and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and present in Colorado, Iowa, New Jersey, Louisiana, Ohio, Virginia, or 18 and older in Kentucky. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-BETS-OFF. In Iowa, terms, conditions, restrictions apply. Listen, if you love listening or watching us live, you should, because as we know, every point against the spread matters. Catch our next episode live at a special time, noon Eastern on Action Network YouTube on Tuesday, covering the entire divisional playoff round. Download us from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe, leave us 5 stars, say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift until Tuesday at 9 Eastern. Love you.